Joseph Fritzl was helpful. That was the first thing people said about him. If your sink leaked, he had tools. If your door jammed, he fixed it. He walked his dog every morning at the same time, nodded to neighbors, complained about taxes, complained about noise. He was strict, but polite. The kind of man you stopped noticing because he fit too well into the shape of daily life. His house in Amstetten looked ordinary too. Yellow walls, a small garden, a cellar door at the back that stayed locked. Old houses had cellars. No one asked questions. They should have. In 1984, Joseph called the police and reported his 18-year-old daughter, Elizabeth, missing. He said she'd joined a cult, produced a letter, shaky handwriting, poorly spelled, claiming she didn't want to be found. People shook their heads sadly. Young people made strange choices. Life went on. What no one saw was the second house beneath the first. Behind the cellar door was a concrete wall. Behind the wall was a steel door. And behind that door, reached only by a coded lock Joseph memorized, was a bunker he had spent years building in secret, pouring concrete late at night, hauling materials in small amounts so no one noticed. The rooms were low, windowless, artificially ventilated, thick enough to block screams. That was where Elizabeth lived, for 24 years. At first, she screamed until her voice failed. She begged, she fought. Joseph beat her until she learned that resistance only made things worse. Over time, the bunker became her entire universe, a bed, a toilet, a small TV. She lost track of seasons, years blurred. Her body weakened from lack of sunlight. Joseph came down the stairs regularly. He used her repeatedly. From those assaults, 7 children were born. 3 were taken upstairs and raised as Joseph's grandchildren, presented to the world as abandoned infants Elizabeth had left behind. 3 were kept underground, never seeing daylight, their lungs damaged from poor air, their bodies underdeveloped. 1 died shortly after birth, its body burned in the furnace. The horrifying discovery didn't happen because someone suspected abuse. It happened because one of the children got sick. In 2008, a teenager named Kirsten, raised in the bunker her entire life, collapsed. She was barely conscious when Joseph carried her upstairs, the first time she had ever been outside. Doctors were alarmed immediately. Her organs were failing. Her body showed signs of severe neglect. They asked questions. Joseph answered too quickly, too confidently. Police demanded to speak with Elizabeth. He hesitated. That was enough. When officers forced him to open the cellar, they didn't find a basement. They found a buried world. A narrow staircase descended into concrete. The air was stale, wrong. Rooms unfolded one after another, sleeping areas, cramped corridors, spaces where children had grown up never knowing the sky existed. Toys lay on the floor, worn down by decades of use. Drawings on the walls showed suns, trees, things the artists had never actually seen. Elizabeth emerged slowly, shielding her eyes from the light. She was 42 years old. On paper, she had been missing for nearly half her life. The police officers later said the worst part wasn't the room, or the locks, or the knowledge of what had happened there. It was realizing that Joseph had eaten dinner upstairs every night, laughed with neighbors, waved to passers-by, while beneath his feet, his family lived like buried evidence. The house was quiet when the story broke. Too quiet, because suddenly everyone wondered what other homes might also have doors that were never meant to be opened.